Hello, welcome to Flower Juice. My name's John McDonald, and today I want to show you a technique for basically making like a Carmen rose or a large rose out of using multiple roses. And we're going to use that to build it up. So the thing to think about first is you need to work out what you're going to use this rose for. Is it going to be a bouquet? How big is it going to be? The bigger it's going to be, the more heavy it's going to be. So the first thing we want to do is really take the rose that would be a central rose and just give it a little tidy. And it is possible to leave the stem on if you wish, or you could use a thick wire to create a new stem. Now, with that, then, what we want to do is we want to come through the rose with another wire and just attach that on. So actually maybe even two wires. So I'm just literally going through the head of the rose. If you go through the neck or the stem, there is a danger that that will still snap. So really the thick wire is giving it support and the other wire is stopping it rolling or twisting on that central support or slipping off that central support. And I'm just using, this is like a plastic film, like gutter. So it's the type of thing we would use for corsages, just to finish that stem off. So this is our central stem. Now, for our roses then, we need to basically split them open and lay them out. So we want to be very gentle. And you could probably separate them down into like three sizes: big petals, medium and small. Now I wouldn't split off too many until you know kind of what you want to do. So this is worth, if you've got some roses and you want to have a shot at this, just having a practice. So I wouldn't wait until you actually need to make one. I would have a practice in advance and see how it works for you and if you enjoy it and where you want to go with it. So basically we're laying out our petals and then we need some little wires to act as basically pins. So you could use like a thick rose wire, or I'm using this very thin, thicker wire, but it's like a wire that's sealed, and I'm just going to split that down into little sections, and then this will become like little pins. So if you use your nail and bend it, and then you can give it like a little twist. So we're basically making like a thing that looks like a hairpin. So we're going to make a little range of them. So we might as well take these sepals off, they'll just get in the way. Now, I suppose in theory you should really do every petal, but I just like to take two or three and do two or three at once. So then what we do is just go straight in with a pin. So grab two or three petals and we're just going to work our way round. So, and then I'm just pushing in. So 1, 2, 3, and don't have them totally beside themselves. But just make sure that your pin is catching all those petals. Now this is not something that you're going to throw together in 10 minutes, but what we really wanted to do today was just to show you how this works. It is good fun and you do get a nice effect. And then really if you've made this big rose, you're wanting to then look at finishing the back, really so that it kind of sits within a little nest of ivy leaves, or it has the protection and the finish from the back. And then also finish off the stem. So the bigger you go, the heavier it's going to be. And you're going to have to then think about the purpose. So if you're making a corsage, maybe some varieties of rose are going to be better than others. They might be lighter. So really, honestly, have a go at this before you decide you're going to do this for real. What I'm doing is I'm making sure that the roses kind of stay, or the petals stay on a level with the rest of the rose. So you don't want to start heading down the way and end up with something that's conical. You want to just build it so it becomes a bit like a plate. So like a teacup and saucer. You want it to be a bit like the kind of saucer rather than turning into like a cone. But you can see that starting to build up. Now, if you find that you need to do more on one bit, then just keep an eye on it and you can add a little bit more to one side. I think when you first do this, you probably think it would be better to use nice thin wires. You can, but you'll probably find that the thin wires are going to be harder to actually put in and get them to go in, especially once you start building up and you've got a certain amount of wires already in there. Then a wire that's a little bit firmer like this is definitely the answer. Now, another thing you can do is you could actually add in petals of a different colour. So this is a little bit smaller, but you could bring in a colour that is different if you wanted. And that can give an interesting effect. So imagine doing basically a black and white rose. It looks great. The only thing I would say is if you're going to do this as wedding bouquets, you have to realise that this will take a long time, needs to really be done on the day or the night before, and it's expensive. It's expensive because it's going to take more time and a good amount of roses as well. So let's just put a couple of these little petals on this side. So you can see that this is building up and building up. Just going to do a few more of these little pins. And you can feel it. You can feel if the rose is secure, if the rose is happy. And you probably want to line yourself up with some nice petals for the kind of outer edge as well. And for that outer edge, you want to make your pins a little bit lower down maybe. You don't want to see a lot of this pin work or the tops of it. So really when I'm pinning, I'm going straight in, not working upwards. You know, I'm not going down here, I'm going in and straight across. But you can see we're starting to build a big rose here. Now that's not so good, that one. So I would probably suggest working in a methodical way, just keep working round rather than favour one side. And that'll keep it balanced. And as you can see, you can just go on and on. It becomes quite therapeutic, actually. So every extra layer you put on is basically adding to the stability of the whole thing. So don't worry about the odd petal. As long as they're all securely in it, it's fine. And that's how we make a Carmen rose. So we're getting it bigger and bigger and working our way out. We're not working our way down, but that is a Carmen rose. You can do two-tone, you can do one colour, but have a go, get some roses, get some wires, and sit and have a go and see what you think. And then you can just sit it in a dish and enjoy it for a few days. So I hope you've enjoyed learning this technique with us today. If you want to subscribe, click here, and that'll keep you up to date with all our videos and all our ideas. So thank you for watching, and we hope to see you soon.